We're now working on the angel twist. We're adding in a two-sided stretch to the angel twist. Before we do that, you would normally go through a series of other techniques before the twist, right? In order to simulate that we've already gone through them, all I'm going to do is the single hip swing, which is just one of the legs from the double hip swing. And then we just lean back, and that gets the pelvis off center, which sets up really nicely for a twist. If you've ever done a self-guided twist in a yoga practice, you'll know that tucking that hip under makes it feel a lot nicer. Then we'll go for the second variation of the angel twist, okay, which is more focused on the actual twist. We're working in like we normally do, like the cha-cha, couple steps forward, half a step back, which is not really like the cha-cha, but you get the idea.
You know the cha-cha?
No, I don't.
No, it's just talking bolo.
Yeah, as evidenced by, it's 2 forward, 2 back, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, we've got to gain ground though, what we want, so we can't go all the way back. So we're just eking our way in there. Yeah, Fiend, this is great. You need this.
I know.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so I'm starting to feel some nice resistance here, and I'm starting to see this indicator shoulder starting to lift, okay? What I'm going to do, because there's a nice little bit of tightness here, so I'm just going to say hello to those glutes.
Because I've been working on them.
Yeah, nice and strong. We're going to do a little bit of glute med. This is also a little bit of piriformis here. We already have really good access to all of this. So all of the touches that I'm doing right now are familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I've been lying on a ball and everything.
Yeah. So we're just going to do a couple of those touches, because when it comes time for the stretch, it sort of focuses the stretch more into the twist rather than into the hip. So this is our opportunity to work structures in the pelvis, because when we add our double-sided stretch in, we take that intensity elsewhere. Yes, well, we'll have to get into this off camera, won't we?
Bless her, eh?
Yeah. Bless those glute meds. Okay, I will return here. I will, I promise. For now, I'm going to shimmy myself up to support behind your back with the outside of my thigh. I could be, depending on flexibility, I could be up in a kneeling diamond or something a little bit taller, but also because I'm tall, I don't really need the extra height, okay? So I'm going to support behind the sacrum, and then I'm going to bring my hand up to the chest. And before we get into the full double-sided stretch, I'm going to do a little bit of chasing, okay? So I can drive the hips with my leg, and then I can release that and drive the shoulder with my hand. That's a bit of a way for you to get a read of what's going on, okay? And also a great way to soothe the nervous system into allowing something like this. So we do that oscillation a few times. And then at a certain point, I'm going to keep a little bit more weight at the shoulder. I'm not going to let the hips come out quite as far. And then I'll start to keep both sides of that chain with a little bit of pressure. And then we pause there and we let their breath cycle actually do most of the work for us. If they increase the depth of their breath, that creates additional tension throughout this system, and it gets the ribs moving in different directions with some force placed on them, some oblique force that we're adding now. And then you might notice the little bits of space, little increments of space open up and that's where you can move into them. And then we can slowly reverse out of that. You could reverse out in the same way by releasing one side and creating a little bit of oscillation. It's a bit of a soothing movement for something that's so intense. Once you've done a slow release, we're coming out of the twist mega slowly because we've been there for a couple of minutes now. And then we'll take the hips back into the middle of the mat using our double hip swing. Remember, the pelvis moves where your archer foot is positioned. So if you want them to be in the middle of the mat, make sure your foot is in the middle of the mat. Second side now. Second side now for this angel twist. Single hip swing to get the pelvis off center. That job is also achieved by simply doing some other work on the one side, like knee to elbow and some helicopter. And then we'll just gradually work our way in. This is the less happy hip, and I can already feel guarding happening. So we're just gonna go mega slowly. Getting a little bit of that twist on. The shoulder's already coming with me. So we're just going to wait there. Do a little bit of, this is piriformis here. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's tight. You can
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
If people can't get their foot over the other side,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, it can float in space. I would, but at a certain point in the twist, it will hit the ground. So you might start with it maybe on their thigh.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. The reason that you want it some degree of over the straight leg is because that gives us a small amount of external rotation at the hip.
Okay.
And that's helpful because when we go through adduction of the leg,
Yeah.
if there's neutrality in the hip or internal rotation, which is usually what happens if you leave the foot on this side,
Yeah.
usually that'll create the pinching sensation in the hip for people.
Okay.
So that little bit of external rotation will reduce that.
We can blame Caroline for all the Pilates.
Oh yeah, our Pilates friend.
Yeah.
Just making some good strong glutes. Lots and lots of work to do here. Okay. I could get stuck in a trap here, really, couldn't I? Yeah. Okay, I'll just do one touch here. I know that we need probably 100. Yeah. Yeah. But we'll come back. And then we'll get this double-sided stretch rolling.
What I always wonder, like I do so much work on like using
Yeah.
the ball and stuff, like how,
Yeah.
like I don't, what would I be like if I didn't do all that,
Yeah.
make all that effort?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Imagine. Okay. Imagine. So you bring one thigh in there for the sacrum, and that you can see, because we're not locking this down yet, you can see the
You can see the lack of
required.
humour in the yoga teacher.
You can see the required adjustment that the shoulder made, okay, in order to allow that. And then we're going to bring our hand in, but we're going to do that little oscillation. So we're going to go for some soothing first. We allow the pelvis to come back as we apply a little bit of weight to the chest and shoulder. And then we allow the shoulder to come back as we send the hips a little bit across. And then we just gradually start to keep things a little bit more stationary. And then we let their breathing do most of the work. This is one of those scenarios where if you find that they aren't taking deeper breaths in here, you might verbally coach it. Depending on where someone's additional tightness is in their back, they'll feel it in different places. So if you have someone who's got more upper back tension, they're going to feel the pressure more in the ribs and more at the junction of the ribs and the spine at the back. If someone's got more low back stuff, they'll feel more like latissimus dorsi or QL stuff.
That'll be me.
That'll be you. And then we'll gradually ease out with that little oscillation. And we'll do plenty more of that as the days go on. We've got to come out super slowly. And then once we're out, a double hip swing to come back into the middle. Yeah.
What you're doing, using a little bit of hand.
Yeah, I'm cheating with the hand.
Yeah. That's nice though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is nice. And then we undrape one at a time. All right, give that a whirl.
Boom.
Let me know what you reckon.
Welcome.